moving resembled structures. For example, mobile spaces such as caravans, boats, and airplanes are used for different purpose, purpose and can be categorized according to land, water, and air environments. The concept of flexibility focuses on the ability of architecture space to change over time. Architectures to design space that can adapt to changing needs rather than single-purpose designs. The seven principles of flexibility, modularity makes the building adaptable to changes, while natural space envision spaces that can be organized for different purpose in the future. Different plant types and add subtract strategy provide flexibility. Mobility enables the interchangeability of space and equipment. The combinability, separability strategy allows units to be combined or divided, while the multi-purpose strategy ensures that a space can be used for multiple functions. This principle increases the design capacity for flexibility and provides a structure that can respond to user needs. This section determines the limitation of the discussion part of the study. This limitation is determined by comparing mobile spaces using the classification of mobile space according to their environmental given in section 4.1 as an example. In this section, caravan on land, yacht on water, and airplanes in the air are compared in terms of flexibility and design criteria of mobile spaces. These spaces represent planes of mobility in different environments. The comparison aims to emphasize the importance of flexibility in mobile space design and to identify design criteria. Looking at the table, caravans, yachts, and airplanes have different levels of flexibility and design features. Caravans generally have the highest level of modularity and versatility, while yachts offer moderate modularity and natural space. On the other hand, airplanes have a more limited modularity and less flexible natural space. Each model of transport offers a customizable and personalized experience based on user needs and preference. However, designed for different purposes, they respond to different usage scenario. Caravans stand out with their modular and portable structure. Yachts are built with durable materials suitable for marine conditions and provide luxury accommodation. Airplanes are ideal for fast and long-distance travel and have strict safety standards. Caravan and yachts have specific characteristics regarding flexibility and safety. Airplanes are less flexible but equipped with strict safety protocols. Caravan and yachts generally offer comfortable living space, while airplanes provide comfortable travel in limited space. Caravans offer an environmental friendly option by using for own energy sources. At the same time, yachts can be environmental friendly as they generally use fossil fuels, while airplanes have a higher carbon footprint. These criteria illustrate mobile spaces' different advantages and features. Each play an important role in their design. Although people lead sedentary lives, the need for mobile living has never been more important. Various mobile spaces have been developed to respond to this need, offering benefits such as shelter, travel, and living space. Design criteria include portability, durability, and flexibility. Flexibility is critical to adapt to user needs and changing lifestyles. The development of future mobile spaces will require factors such as technological integration, sustainability, modular design, and personalization. Using advances, technology and smart systems will enhance the user experience while environmentally friendly practice and sustainable energy sources can reduce the ecological impact of mobile spaces. This development could lead to significant changes in the travel and hospitality industry and provide a basis for future research. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much for this very interesting presentation. The third presentation is made by PhD candidate as usual and assistant professor Dr. Handor Dugdum Beyaz. And the title is Diagram as a Productive Force in Contemporary Architecture, a discussion throughout the discourses and practice. Now I share the presentation.
Greetings and welcome to my presentation entitled Modernization of Football Stadiums in Algeria, presented by me, Esma Bousri, PhD student from the University of Blida, Algeria. This presentation seems to gather invaluable insights on Algeria's sports facilities and strategies to improve their quality.
Sorry, it's not my presentation.
A traditional Emrad method. Starting.
Hello.
Okay. Now I find your presentation. Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you, Asli.
Thank you.
This, I think, okay. Sorry.
Rosetta, the third
Yes, I
presentation
am.
is going on.
I'm here. Is
Good.
this is okay?
Yes,
My name is
Yes.
Asli.
Perfect.
I am a
Thank
PhD
you.
candidate at Yıldız Technical University. Me and my thesis advisor, dear Assistant Professor Dr. Hande Düzgün Bektaş, prepared this presentation named Diagram as a Productive Force in Contemporary Architecture, a discussion through discourses and practices. The content of the study is the introduction, theoretical background, material and methods, results, discussions, and conclusions. We can start with saying that the diagram is the threshold where information and architecture meet and merge. They are beneficial tools that can be used at every stage of a design action, from the start to the final version of the design, and they can be defined as visual tools, schematic images. We can say that the diagram is as old as architecture itself, but especially in the late 1990s, with the acceleration of the search for a new architecture whose boundaries are blurred, the research on this subject has gained importance. And in order to better interpret this current complex paradigm of architecture, this study aims to understand where and how the diagram is positioned in this paradigm. Here you see the flow of this study with theoretical background and the analysis and results, and the discussions and conclusions will come. A diagram is a graphical representation, a conceptual tool, and as Deleuze and Guattari says, it is an abstract machine, a machine that builds what has not happened yet. You see some important diagrams from history, like Jeremy Bentham's Panopticon, Walter Gropius's Bauhaus diagram, Le Corbusier's Modular. And then a diagram can be a representational tool where it is something post-produced, or it could be a thinking and designing tool in which the diagram itself is something that produces. And questioning these diagram activities will be important in terms of questioning the new identities that the architecture of the future can acquire. Therefore, our research design consists of discourse and content analysis, which are qualitative research methods. They tend to focus on contemporary phenomena and aim to outline a more comprehensive knowledge with a holistic approach. And here it should be emphasized that both this study and the diagram itself are process-oriented, not just results-oriented. And this study is limited to the works of Peter Eisenman, Stan Allen, Ben van Berkel, and Caroline Loos. And in future studies, this scope can be expanded by analyzing other names. And there are different data sources for qualitative research. In this study, our analyses are made on the books and articles written by these selected architects and the built or unbuilt projects they designed. If we start with the analysis, we will start with Peter Eisenman. We analyzed some of his articles, his book Diagram Diaries, and some of his projects. And we saw that he exhibits an approach that contradicts the traditional understanding of space and creates deconstructive designs through folding idea that blur the boundaries. In this approach, he instrumentalized the diagram in the search for an architecture that is autonomous and independent of external values. He uses grid diagrams to liberate the form and open architecture to its own discourse. I will show two examples from his designs. The first one is House 3. In this project, reading space and space elements hierarchically is criticized. He gives equal attention to the columns, walls, and windows. And this blurring here is also an expression of the interiority of architecture and the search for an architecture with blurred boundaries for him. And the other project is House 6. House designs up to House 6 consist of a linear translation from A to B, but in the House 6, this situation becomes simultaneous. The diagram takes on a productive role. It denies the possibility of a predetermined outcome. With this house, a new diagrammatic process idea emerged based on taking something that existed and making it visible by decomposing it. So design no longer has to originate from a pure geometry. It can involve a versatile state of an unformed matter. Then Ben van Berkel and Caroline Loos, architects of UN Studio. In their designs, the geometric diagrams are used as tools that both give form to the envelope and generate programmatic organization. They present their conceptual approaches and the design model they have prepared to be developed and used in other projects through data diagrams. And here, their project Möbius House. It consists of a Möbius strip diagram. Here you see this diagram, a figure that has no ending, no beginning, and is created by two continuous lines creating a kind of spiral. Here, the user family's 24-hour life and work cycle has an intertwined trajectory, and program circulation and structure are integrated around it. The other project is Arnhem Center Master Plan. Here they use some typologies, some conceptual tools to organize the public area, and the Klein model, a conceptual tool, a mathematical diagram, a four-dimensional Möbius loop, and it acts as a boundary tool connecting indoor and outdoor spaces such as entrances and terraces. And finally, Stan Allen. He creates topologies and roadmaps by using diagrams, sketches, linear diagrams, and organizational schemes, which he sees as a channel between architecture and non-architectural information, and a transfer tool that establishes a relationship between matter and meaning. The first example is logistical activities zone. Here, the design is intended to create traces of an architectural infrastructure that flexibly directs future developments. There is a user's manual created by making use of new representation strategies such as diagrams, maps, and scripts while detailing the project. And by proposing loose organizational typologies, it becomes easier to construct multiple program scenarios. And the other project is New Maribor Art Gallery. It is a project which the concept of part to whole is captured with diagrams. Here, one model is alone defines an exhibition space, and several models combined create large spaces. And diagrams were used in the search for both spatial organization and form. So the discussions. Through the analysis, some concepts used by architects when defining and explaining the diagram were extracted. For example, for Peter Eisenman, diagram is a graphical tool, a writing instrument, a graphic shorthand, the interpretation of the new. And for Van Berkel and Bos, it is a visual tool, a product and a generator. It could be both a reductive machine and a proliferating machine. And for Allen, it is an abstract model, instructions for action, intermediate layer, collections of graphics, etc. And according to all this analysis, we realized the roles of the diagram as a contemporary design tool can be classified as reproduction tool, abstraction tool, form tool, conceptualizing tool, organization tool, interpretation tool, and boundary tool. So, through history, different types of diagrams have changed with architecture and have been guiding in terms of form, meaning, and program. In the 21st century, this strong influence of the diagram continues to increase. And it is not only responsible for representing the existing world, but also can play productive roles in the formation of new realities. And in the contemporary architectural environment, diagrams play important roles in architectural transformation from object-oriented to process-oriented, and becoming influenced by the knowledge of many different disciplines. Therefore, the diagram, which produces information according to the available data, changes as the data changes and is updated, bringing dynamism to architecture. And if we conclude with a quote from the title of Larkin and Simon's article, a diagram is sometimes worse than 1,000 words. Here, there are our resources. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Asli. It's very interesting.
Yes,
Very,
very,
very-
very interesting. And now we have the last presentation for this first round, and the title is Modernization of a Football Stadium in Algeria. And the presenter are PhD student Asma Bouzri and Professor Mustafa Keit Zoui and Professor Amina Abdsamet Funa. Now I share the screen. I start from the beginning.
Greetings and welcome to my presentation entitled Modernization of Football Stadiums in Algeria, presented by me, Asma Bouzri, PhD student from the University of Blida, Algeria. This presentation seems to gather invaluable insights on Algeria's sports facilities and strategies to improve their quality to align with global standards. We use the traditional MRAD method, starting with an introduction. Football and sports in general played a significant role in shaping Algeria's national identity in the 20th century. Initially used to raise awareness for independence, football later became a tool for promoting socialism and educating the public. This led to the development of strong infrastructure for sports, with Algeria now possessing valuable assets in stadiums and venues. Football is a popular passion in Algerian society and serves as a source of joy and distraction, leading to a desire for international competitions to be held in their stadiums. It is believed that with the right improvements, the country has the potential to successfully host such events. As for the methodology we used, it was qualitative methodology to examine modernization aspects in stadiums worldwide. The research begins by inventorying football stadiums in Algeria built in the 20th century. It then focuses on renovation efforts for modernization in football stadiums, using 2 European stadiums as case studies. These stadiums maintained their original structure while adding roofs to update their facilities. The inventory information was primarily obtained from the Algerian Ministry of Youth and Sports, Directorates of Youth and Sports, and the Algerian Professional Football League. Almost all of the stadiums that were identified are listed in these sources. As for the case studies, much of the information can be found on the discussed stadiums, websites, and media articles. As a result, and in order to effectively plan for the future, it is important to have a good understanding of our past. Therefore, a brief historical overview is essential. Football stadiums in Algeria are seen as important historical landmarks that showcase a diverse range of styles based on when and where they were built. These stadiums serve as valuable urban resources. While we were unable to compile a comprehensive list of stadiums from the 20th century, we have gathered information from multiple sources to create a list of approximately 80 stadiums, although not all stadiums were included due to limited available information. Those 80 stadiums are classified firstly according to their date of construction, when the colonial administration sought to control the population by implementing sports program to distract and detach the population from their cause. This strategy was in place from the late 19th century to mid-20th century, when the Algerian government continued its approach by building more stadiums, which is still ongoing till today. The figure displays milestone dates in stadium construction, as well as examples of well-known stadiums built during those timeframes, all of which are still in operation and functioning. Secondly, according to the situation, where stadiums were usually located within cities in the past, now new stadiums are being built outside of town centers. Each state has at least one stadium, with larger cities having multiple stadiums. The capital alone has a total of 7 stadiums that were built within our specific time frame. Lastly, according to typology, there are 4 types of stadiums categorized by the number of stands that they have, shown in the figure below, from left to right: single linear stand, double stands, triple stands, and stands encircling the entire stadiums. Now moving on for the new modern stadiums. Algeria, considered being the largest country in Africa, is experiencing significant growth that may enable it to host major international events. Multiple stadiums have been constructed recently, such as Nelson Mandela, Milud Hetfi Stadium, Tizi Ouzou Stadium, and the upcoming Douira Stadium. Firstly, the Nelson Mandela Stadium, located in Baraki, and opened on January 13, 2023, with seating capacity of 40,784, will be the first association football-specific stadium in the country. It will also be the first stadium eligible to host all matches organized by FIFA, including the World Cup, and second stadium in the country to be entirely covered. Second of all, Milud Hetfi Stadium, situated in Bilgaid Wahran, a component of the Milud Hetfi Olympic Complex. It was inaugurated on June 17, 2021, making it the first fully covered stadium in the country. Then we have Hussein Ait Ahmed Stadium, located in Tizi Ouzou, with a seating capacity of 50,766, making it the 3rd largest stadium on the country. The construction of this stadium has lasted for 12 years of work. And lastly, the upcoming Douira Stadium, which will be called Ali Lapointe, situated in Douira, suburb of Algiers. It is expected to serve as the home stadium for MCA. MCA is one of the elite football clubs in Algeria. The second point in our presentation focuses on renovating stadiums to modernize them, beginning with examples from Italy and France. The first example being the Joyce Stadium, or the Stadio Atleti Azzurro d'Italia, located in Bergamo, serves as the home stadium for the Serie A team Atlanta, with a seating capacity of 21,000. It was inaugurated in 1928, renovated firstly in 2015, and then later underwent major renovation between 2019 and 2024. The Jewish Stadium was undergoing extensive restructuring to modernize and improve the stands behind the goal. The first stage focused on the north goal stands, followed by the reconstruction of the eastern stand, and the current stage involves rebuilding the Curva Sud south stand and installing 2 large trusses for lightning support. The stadium is expected to be fully operational for Atlanta by the start of the 2020 and 2025 season. Those pictures shows the construction of the north stand of the Atlanta Stadium. The construction of the roof of the north stand, made by reticular beams of tubular profile, represents the first step towards the completion of the stadium, that at the end of the works will have a rectangular layout and a capacity of 24,000 seats, 18 of which are located in the two new lateral stands. Second example being the Marseille Stadium, or as it's called, Stade Vélodrome. The second largest arena in France, has been the home of Olympique de Marseille since it was built in 1937. The picture on the top right is of the stadium since it was built till the 50s. The stadium has been through three significant renovations. One in 1984, as shown in the picture on the bottom left. It was the stadium in the 80s in preparation for hosting the Euro. Another one in 1998 for the World Cup, and the final one in 2015 in anticipation of hosting Euro 2016. The last being the most significant, led by architects search and create for alternatives use, which included adding undulating fiberglass roof to the curved stands and increasing the capacity. Those two figures show us the stadium in 1998 for the World Cup, and the current condition of the stadium, with the large white translucent undulating roof spreading out to let above the stand. As for the Algerian experience, Algeria wants to organize big soccer tournaments in the future. They want to host the final games of the African Cup in 2027. Therefore, a new renovation operation was then planned, focusing on the 5th of July Stadium in Algiers, among the 4 new stadiums that were built. The 5th of July Stadium, opened in 1972, is a part of the Mohammed Boudiat Olympic Complex, located in the center of Algiers. The stadium was scheduled for facelift that involved the complete renovation of the capital's famous venue. The plans included altering the facade and installing a roof to cover the entire structure and expanding its capacity from 67,000 to 85,000. The first modernization project was made by Fabris and Partners, an Italian firm, where the objective was to update and expand the historically important sports facility with current strategies and FIFA standards. The goal was to make the venue a central focal point in the Algerian capital, offering various sports, cultural, and leisure activities with enhanced services. The original architectural design would be maintained externally, with new elements blending in to create seamless connection between the past and the present. The second project, as shown in these axonometries that were given to me, unfortunately without further explanation due to bureaucratic reasons. Regrettably, both projects are currently paused. The 5th of July Stadium, or the operation, the intention to renovate the stadium in Algeria, exemplifies the country's efforts towards modernizing football, relatively new endeavor in sports industry. While past efforts focused on rehabilitation and upkeep, the construction of stadium structure and the installation of roofs to enclose it all are still, unfortunately, unfinished. To conclude, it's safe to say that the network of football stadiums in Algeria dating back 20th century represents significant historical interest. These vital structures in the sport industry hold such a historical background that we should, as architects, be concerned about preserving and maintaining. The abundance of diversity it should promote us to contemplate their protection for future generations. That's the first point. The second point being that study of sporting heritage from the 20th century in the country has been unfortunately overlooked by researchers who are more focused in civil and religious building. Our aim is to contribute to this field of research by offering new perspective, focusing on the study of football stadiums. Lastly, and in order to protect football stadiums, the initial investigations focused on understanding and acknowledging these buildings through a repertoire, which was done. Then the renovation of these structures to meet international and African standards starts by improving the facilities as a whole, by adding domes and retractable roofs to cover the stadiums, but not the common process that we use currently, which includes repainting, electrical and sanitary works, and always replacing the turf. Thank you for your attention, and thank you for your attention.
Okay, now we have finished our presentation. Now we have a question from Dr. Scialini. Do you want to share your question with us? Or if you want, I can read your question.
Dr. Scialini, if you are here with us, you can
Yes.
share your question. Yes.
Hello, good
Thank you.
afternoon.
Hello, thank you.
My question was, I was just curious and wanted to know the reasons and criteria for selecting the 3 practices for understanding the diagrams. Yeah, and more specifically the second one. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your question. We chose Ben van Berkel and Caroline Bos because they have many studies for diagrams, especially from early 2000s. And they are some pioneers of diagram research, and they use these conceptual studies into their practices, like their buildings. And UN Studio, their office has many studies for using diagrams, integrating it with practices and their discourses. So that's why we choose them. But of course, the scope can be changed. The other names can be analyzed in other studies. We want to do it.
Thank you so much, and
Thank
all
you.
the best for your research.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know if are other question for this session. I want to add only two words about this presentation. I think that we have seen many different kind of approach about the research, and this is the most important things about this kind of meeting, I think. For example, in the second presentation, mobility and flexibility in architecture, we can see the origin of architecture and now how architecture can change, but use every the same tools for to be understand. And the third presentation, diagram as a productive force in contemporary architecture, a discussion throughout discourses and practice. I agree with Dr. Scialini. I love the Peter Eisman diagram particularly. And in the last presentation, modernization of football stadium in Algeria, I'm so happy that we have seen many Italian reference, and it's very interesting. I don't know if Dr. Ines, if you want to add any words of this.
Yes, it's about the diagrams presented by Dr. I forgot the name, excuse me, Dr. Asli. Yes, it's very interesting. And especially about your theoretical background, I found that very interesting, this combination between Deleuze and Félix Guattari, especially abstract machine. I found this very interesting. I hope that this diagram can solve problems with architectural representation for more viable and sustainable building and architectural processing representation. I found it very interesting. Thank you, Dr. Asli Yushel, for this interesting presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I don't know if the other
Consider
presenter,
if
yeah.
there are any questions, other questions from the audience.
From the audience, I think no. I would ask if other presenter want to share other part of their research or.
Doctor, since we are early for the second session, let us to, if you give me a chance to discuss something with the
Of course,
presenters. Thank you very much for the presentations. Really, the topics are very interesting. Dr. Concita, your presentation was very, very interesting to me, and provoked one question in my mind. If herbicide can have advantage later, maybe, for the city. Do you understand what I say?
Okay, it's a very difficult question because we can see now in this day the herbicide in Gaza, of course, in Ukraine, of course, and I think that for architecture, in this case, we have the possibility. I know it's strange, but we have the possibility to see the bones of the structure, the bones of our culture. And for this reason is an occasion to understand the bodies of the city. I know it's strange. I know that it will be cruel, but in my opinion, we can understand the progress of the architecture in our time. For example, in my research, when I worked on Hebron in the city, I had the opportunity to understand the relationship between the war and the life. And in this case, my idea was to take the opportunity to revitalize the city without a political problem, because as you know, now the problem in Gaza, in Palestine is bigger than last year's, but I think it's a good solution for live together, because my idea is I want to see this because I think it's important. Two country is the solution, and two country is the solution because every single person in Gaza and in Israel have the right to live a life, have to activate the city, and this is a kind of view about the herbicide and the opportunity between this kind of approach, the war and the peace, a new kind of peace, of course.
Thank you very much. It is really interesting. Aslı, I want to ask you if you are here. Are you here, Aslı?
Yes, I'm here.
I am wondering how can we consider, since we are talking about the forms and the design lines, outlines, how can I consider, in your opinion, this is out of the presentation, I think, but since you are in the field, the parametric design or any program design, how can we consider it like a human innovative design? Means how much it is authentic in architecture, this issue.
Yeah, it is a very important and now a new topic.
I need your opinion. I don't need just since you are in the process. Just your opinion about that.
I think it can be very expanded by using diagrams and parametric design together, especially now that we use computers every day, and it's even becoming more widespread than sketches and everything. I think they should be together, but yes, if we use diagrams and parametric design together to have the form and meaning together, it can help to make it more strong, the conceptual idea, to integrate it to design, if I understand
Thank
that.
you.
Okay,
Thank you. Last question for Asma from Algeria. Are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Yes,
It's
still
still
1
morning in
minute.
Algeria.
No, it is even here. Asma, do you think the stadiums can be part of the pupil identity? I mean, the landmark in some cities. Do you think that it is possible some days? I mean, when you go to Algeria, a capital, you see the stadiums, and then you will consider it part of your culture identity. Do you have this kind of feeling about that?
Yes, sir. Actually, there is a study. It's called about Genius Luci. I think you're
Genius
familiar with
Luci.
the term. Genius
Italian
Luci.
people like it Luci, not
Yes,
Losai.
Genius Luci. There is a study about football's appropriation, football fans and appropriation of the space. It was said that football fans prefer the old stadiums renovated, rehabilitated, other than destructing it and building new ones. That's why I started by speaking about the past, because the stadiums in Algeria represents a symbol of resistance during the French occupation.
Yes, this is why, because you are talking about the development of the stadiums. I mean, how can you develop the design in a way to don't make a dichotomy between the memory of the people in the past and the existing ones? I think technological part is very important, and in the same time, this dimension should be considered, since we agree that the stadiums is part of the people memory.
Yes,
Don't
actually,
you?
I have. Yes, I think, because I already did in the presentation when I spoke about technology in stadiums, using technology to modernize and make it more sustainable. The new approach is making stadiums greener by using technology, and mainly roofs. It's actually about with stadium industry. It's all about the roofs, covering the if you can see the two examples, the Italian example, all they covered the north and the south stands,
Yes.
reshaping the stadium from circular to rectangular.
Yeah, we have to be careful about that, I think.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Thank you.
It's a very sensitive point. Thank you, sir. I hope that
Thank you very
answered your
much.
question.
It was interesting, actually, your presentation.
Thank you.
Dr.
Thank you.
Concita, thank you very much for your patience with me.
No, it's a pleasure. But now we have to start the second roundtable, I think.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know if we have all the presenter. I hope. Can I start, Doctor? Perfect. I don't know if Dr. Ines, do you want to share your computer, or can I?
As you want, Concetta, if you want, as you want.
For me, it's not a problem.
It's
If you
okay
want,
for
I
me.
can.
Yeah, you can share it too.
Okay, perfect. The first presentation is made by Sule Igania Drusilla and Dr. Neubau Atali, and the title of the presentation is New Approaches to Contemporary Elderly Care Home Design. Now I share the screen. Only a moment, please. Okay, this.
everyone, and welcome to today's conference. I am Sule Iganya Drusilla, a master's student from the Department of Architecture in Okan University, Istanbul, Turkey. The title of my presentation today is New Approaches to Contemporary Elderly Care Home Design. I begin this presentation by shedding highlight on what an elderly care home is. An elderly care home is a facility that accommodates the elderly citizens by creating human-centric spaces where their social needs, physical needs, and psychological needs are met. The study has highlighted socialization as a problem faced in elderly care homes because of the change of environment, from living with family members or relatives to living in a new and strange environment. Hence, it proposes architectural solutions that designs can be sustainable, whereby elderly people can make new connections and rediscover themselves through creating human-centric spaces by integrating a vocational school and providing adaptive spaces. Moving on to materials and methods. Some existing studies were carried out, and it suggests social spaces to be designed. These social spaces include a dining hall, a performing hall, and an outdoor sit-out area. It also suggests spaces designed to promote conversations and interpersonal contact. Participation in social interaction with the use of video call software such as Zoom, FaceTime, and Skype. Robotic experiments to engage the elderly people in relaxing activities, whereby robots and the elderly people tend to form a connection in the elderly care home. And lastly, implementing aesthetically pleasing building materials such as building bricks. Building bricks tend to give the building a home-like feeling, making the elderly people to feel at home. This study explores the influence of architectural styles on elderly care homes, focusing on improving living conditions, safety, and homeliness, while emphasizing on handcraft activities for relaxation and physiotherapy. At this case, elderly care home and a vocational school can be merged to create a sustainable living environment that provides social interaction, empowerment, and a sense of belonging. This study focuses on addressing social needs by providing interactive spaces for elderly care homes through merging the elderly care home with the vocational school. The study also highlights the importance of handcraft activities for relaxation and stimulation. As clearly seen in this bar chart, this is a study of elderly citizens in Turkey and whom they choose to stay with. About 46% of elderly citizens in Turkey choose to stay with their sons, while 9% of elderly people choose to stay with their daughters. 14% choose to stay in care facilities, while 27% choose home care. As we can see, there's a decline in care facility. This needs urgent attention. This study has proposes scopes whereby the role of architecture can be improved and the human health can also be improved. Design goes beyond aesthetics and it considers the user's benefits and a long-term benefits for the occupants. The architectural solution proposes creating a safe space where the elderly people can make new connections and rediscover themselves. At the end of this brings me to the end of my presentation. Examining a study based on location, social values, and sustainable goals by comparing architectural gaps and lapses that need innovations such as vocational school, designing a space where elderly people can be engaged in one handcraft or the other. This study has proposed a vocational school where classrooms such as music, knitting, sewing, painting, and pottery classes can be available for them to participate in one handcraft or the other at their leisure time. This means elderly people are empowered and there's no loneliness and there's no room for boredom. Boredom and loneliness can lead into depression and causing a short lifespan. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And we have the second presentation from MR candidate Ananka and Professor Aparna and architecture Alok Dinesh. And the title is Pop-up Markets in the Mixed-Use Neighborhood Street and its Relevance in Flexible Street Design. A moment, and I share.
Hi, myself Anagail. I am here to present my research paper, Pop-up Markets in Mixed-Use Neighborhood Street and its Relevance in Flexible Street Design. Cities are growing rapidly, leading to mixed-use neighborhood with residential, commercial, recreational spaces. The research investigated how these markets align with diverse community needs and preferences, contributing to community building, cultural exchange, and shared public spaces. The main aim of the study is the significance of pop-up markets in mixed-use neighborhood street, focusing on their role in enhancing community engagement and street vibrancy and to provide urban design guidelines. The main objective were to study the characteristics of pop-up market and how they enhance the mixed-use neighborhood street, to assessing the impact of pop-up markets on community engagement on street, to formulate the guidelines for pop-up markets in mixed-use neighborhood street and their relevance in flexible street design. This slide shows the methodology. Objective 1 is to understand the concept of pop-up market in mixed-use neighborhood through different literature, case study, journals, paper, reports, and websites. From that, different parameters were identified. From the parameters identified, this study deeply examines the impact of pop-up markets community engagement in the street. For that, study area is delineated. Comparison of the study area with the identified parameters are conducted to provide a comprehensive analysis. From that, major conflicts and opportunities identified and derived at a conclusion. Objective 3 involves drawing inferences and conclusions from the research findings and providing urban design guidelines based on these conclusions. Next part of the study focuses on terms such as pop-up market, mixed-use neighborhood, flexible street design, and show the role of pop-up market within mixed-use neighborhood. The term pop-up is used to describe something that appears suddenly and usually exists for a limited time. Pop-up market which appeared in the 1990 in major cities like New York City, Los Angeles, Tokyo, London. Major benefits of pop-up markets are mobile in nature, temporary in nature, flexible, community-centric, immersive experiences, placemaking, and urban renewal. Major types of pop-up markets were farmers market, food pop-ups, artisans and crafts, and fish markets, etc. Next is about the mixed-use neighborhood street. It is the combination of residential spaces with commercial establishment. The goal of a mixed-use neighborhood is to build more workable and lively community where neighbors can interact, shop, live, and work to one another. Characteristics of mixed-use neighborhood street include diverse land uses, community engagement, connectivity, higher urban density, walkability, and sense of place. Flexible street refers to street adaptable to a variety of uses and changing condition over time. The main characteristics of flexible street design, it is modular and adaptable. It can convert the parking space, wider sidewalk, and shared streetscapes. Next is about the role of pop-up market in mixed-use neighborhood street. It helps in enhancing community engagement. It acts as a social hub, economic boost, cultural diversity, increased foot traffic. These are the parameters identified from different papers and journals. These are the final parameters delineated: location, type, flexibility, time period, foot traffic, street activation, placemaking, and economic aspects. To understand the impact of pop-up market, the study area selected is in Kerala. State has undergone rapid urbanization in recent years. Tirunelveli, the capital of Kerala, experiences an influx of population due to various job opportunities. In such area, several temporary markets can be observed. The city of Tirunelveli is home to 74 marketplaces according to the more recent survey conducted in 2019. Out of these, 31 markets are owned by the corporation, 31 are roadside markets. The items sold by the merchants in Trivandrum can be classified as food, clothes, toys, electronics and mechanical, and others. In comparing parameters between existing literature and the primary study, observation on the public are noted as following: limited space, limited geographic area within pop-up market present an important problems for merchants and customers equally. Overcrowding, pop-up markets frequently face overcrowding, which induce a problem for merchants and customers equally. Next, conflicts is about waste management and environmental concern. Environmental and waste management issues are major challenges associated with pop-up market. Next is about the quality of product. Maintaining the quality of goods is an essential consideration for both merchants and customers. Next, major conflicts are parking. Parking of heavy vehicle disrupt the pop-up market. Pop-up markets may significantly impact the availability of parking spaces on nearby groups of users. Footpath issue. Urban footpath problems are frequently made worse by the presence of pop-up market parking lots of vehicles. Next observation is from the seller's point of view, lack of infrastructure facility, absence of storage sheds, light, restroom facilities for merchants, lack of public toilet facilities poses a complex problem for merchants operating pop-up markets. Next is about the regulatory challenges. They frequently fail to get the necessary permit and license. Several construction projects have been undertaken to build footpath, but they fail to meet the standard expected of footpath. Neither they consider people who live their lives by means of pop-up markets. From the key observations mentioned above, the next slides will illustrate the major design recommendations identified. This slide shows the major urban design guidelines and strategies. The primary goal of this design principle is to produce adaptable and welcoming avenues that effortlessly integrate pop-up market, thus encouraging economic engagement, community participation, and a vibrant urban atmosphere. Flexible infrastructure, multi-utility, sustainable design practices overall helps to design guidelines for pop-up markets in mixed-use neighborhood. First one is flexible infrastructure. These are the components and design recommendations suggested. Modular street furniture. Infrastructure should be hinder the flow of pedestrians or vehicles. It should be easy to use. Material should be durable, affordable, simple to maintain, safe to use. Seating. Benches or seating should be provided at the front edge of the footpath and ideally with the provision of shade. Trash bins. Size of the trash bin should be such that it should not occupy more than 2 square kilometers of space of any street. Trash bin should be located at intervals of not more than 200 meters. Adaptable market stalls. Market stalls can be placed at the edge of the pavements opposite the road at an approximate rise of 2 meters. However, the space is restricted. It is possible to consider at a rise of 1 to 1.5 meters. There are no standard recommended. The size of the market stall differ according to the commodity they sell. Next one is the multi-utility zone. So these are the components or design recommendations suggested. Components were the wider footpath, safety and security and parking. In wider footpath, give separate zones for pop-up market zones, pedestrian zone, street furniture. Incorporate seating areas and greenery along the widened footpath for comfort. Safety and security. Adequate lighting throughout the market area include parking lots and walkways. Good light quality contributes to the creation of a secure environment by facilitating user visibility. Speed breakers, which are induced elements on the road where the pop-up market is located. Parking. Identify nearby vehicle loads or underutilized space that can be designated as temporary parking areas during pop-up market events. Next components were the traffic congestion and public toilets. In traffic congestion, main design recommendation were identify and promote alternative routes for drivers to bypass congested area near the pop-up market site. Designate specific parking areas away from the pop-up market site to encourage attendees to park and walk to the event. It is essential that the pop-up markets are confined to the designated area and not to spread the roadside. Bollards can have variety of design and shapes, but the design should not cause hindrance to pedestrians and users. Public toilet. It is essential that we incorporate public toilets into the road design in a way that ensures both convenient access. It is undesirable for public toilets to obstruct transportation ways or footpath. In sustainable design practices, major components were effective waste management system, eco-friendly practices and materials, community collaborations. Major design recommendations were provide clearly labeled waste bins for different types of waste such as general waste, compostables, etc. Educate vendors and attendees about proper waste sorting and disposal practice. In eco-friendly practices and material, encourage vendors to use eco-friendly packaging materials and produce that are sustainably sourced and produced. Community collaborations, partnership with the local businesses, community organization, artisans to showcase locally made products and promote economic growth. The study concluded by highlighting the impact on urban development, and it also emphasized the importance of these markets in promoting local economies, community engagement, and catalyzing the development. The study focuses on investigating how pop-up market contribute to the vibrancy of mixed-use neighborhood street, also assessing their impact on community engagement, with the goal of formulating urban design guidelines. The study is limited to context-specific study as the impact and effectiveness of pop-up markets in enhancing community engagement and street vibrancy may vary across different cultural, economic, and geographical factors.
Thank you very much for this interesting presentation. And the last presentation is made by our dear Ines, Associate Professor and Professor Iman Ben Youssef Dargadi. And the title of this presentation is Dynamic Culture and Participatory Design, Mapping User Experience in Urban Space. Now I share my screen.
Hello. As part of our participation at the 7th International Conference on Contemporary Urban Affairs in Architecture and Urbanism, we, Professor Iman Ben Youssef from the University of Montreal and Associate Professor Ines Sahtout from the University of Tunis, are honored to present our paper today entitled Dynamic Culture and Participatory Design, Mapping User Experience in Urban Spaces. The outline of our presentation is as follows. We begin by identifying the fundamental points of participatory design. Then we integrate the particularities of the cultural dynamic that underlines the duality of urban development through participatory design. Through this diagram illustrating our research process, we propose to go through 5 approaches. As follows, the first point is to identify the basics of a cultural dynamics. The participatory aspect will be detailed in the second point to demonstrate through parametric modeling a new cartography of the city of Tataouine, which will allow us, in the third point, to show examples of mapping methods in an aspect both conceptual and constructive. The fourth point identifies the specificities of a cartographic case study through parametric modeling that integrates the user in such a way that he becomes aware of the architectural and heritage value of his region. As for our conclusion, in the fifth point, we propose a future reading of urban development that promotes the sustainability of architectural projects through the interpretation and exploitation of spatial use mapping. To demonstrate that participatory design and cultural dynamics are two complementary and mutually simulating concepts, we refer to the 2 methods developed by Ezio Manzini for social dynamic innovation: designing for the community, designing with the community. So we intend to go further than these 2 forms of participatory interpretation and develop a new approach based on designing through and by the interpretation of users' activities and real-life experiences. To interpret use through design and user activities, we present a number of mapping methods and tools too. The first is conceptual, as you can see in this representation, where a cluster of words and colors highlights urban planning and users in terms of a specific vocabulary and conversion interdisciplinary relationships. The second method is based on Elouse's study of Ksur valorization in her research on the city of Tataouine, social design and event design in southeastern Tunisia, the heterotopia of the Ksur space. We have identified the Between the Ksur project as a research project. This method is humanistic because it's based on an activity and an experience lived with the inhabitants to discover their Ksur sites by traveling together between the Ksurs and discovering in groups the hidden values of the region. Notice that by exploring the traditions, know-how, lifestyles, and habits of a community, it's possible to discover other architectural and urban interpretations through daily activities and uses. Through this illustration, we explore the hidden meanings that uses can have. Manzini discovered that social design is done with or for the community, but to evoke and integrate citizen practices, we emphasize and engage in a cartographic process to promote design through activities. In our cities, every interaction and movement creates data that reflects how we live and use our urban spaces. By analyzing this data, we can uncover patterns in how spaces are utilized and understand the relationship between people's behaviors and the environment. This analysis is crucial for designing urban spaces that are tailored to the specific needs of the community. For this reason, we propose to model the activities and routes of the citizens of Tataouine for a simulation of the journeys to the schools in order to progress towards our case study. The integration of an interactive and specifically parametric component is essential for the emergence of new ideas. A map of the cultural dynamics of the city of Tataouine was created using these parametric modeling approaches. As first step, we import OpenStreetMap, geographic data for the city of Tataouine. This data includes detailed information about the topography of the city, its streets, buildings, and other geographic features. Third, we customize and adjust parameters to orient the map according to the daily activities of local residents. Fourth, we focus on the essential amenities of citizens. Fifth, we customize the map to meet needs, functions, and use. In our initial modelization, we focused on mapping the heart of Tataouine. This foundational analysis lays the groundwork for understanding the city's core, serving as reference for our subsequent urban studies. Exploring Tataouine virtually allows us to uncover the essential amenities that significantly impact the daily lives of its residents. This virtual journey helps us to decode the city's concealed features and understand what truly matters to the local community. Minimization of mass addition distances. User activities are developed around a barycenter. This is a sale area called electrosayeh. In this video, we can see how activities are displayed according to a program that identifies the local point of the city. The itinerary is illustrated by connecting lines that map the activities to a specific time. In our modeling too, we've used parametric modeling to calculate and visualize the spatial journeys within Tataouine. The culmination of this intricate analysis has led us to a significant discovery. The barycenter of Tataouine, identified as electrosayeh. This central point represents the heart of the city's dynamics, offering us a unique perspective on the urban structure and the flow of its inhabitants' daily activities. By visualizing the different activities that take place in each location, urban designers can learn more about patterns of human behavior. Activity mapping offers a deep dive into urban interactions, highlighting where and how people engage their environment. This insight guides urban designers in creating spaces that are sustainable, user-focused, and aligned with the community's lifestyle. Through this installation of XOR locations as a functional unit of the Central Electrosayeh activity in Tataouine, we explore the map. This is our third modeling, which distributes activity and travel distance as a function of routes to these XOR, including Qsar Dghagra, Qsar Ouled Dabbab, Qsar Ouled Sultan, and Qsar Tunkut. Now we will scroll the results of the cartographies collected and which identify on the user routes by minimizing and by maximizing the distance of relation between the barycenter of Tataouine and the various XOR for estimates of visits. Qsar Ouled Sultan, Qsar Tunkut. This mapping of user paths shows a corresponding navigation between the XOR seeds. To conclude our presentation, we invite you to explore this personalized illustration inspired by Tim Brown's white paper, articulating a trilogy that frames the deployment of a use map based on cultural dynamics. This approach advocates for the resilient enhancement of cultural heritage, focusing on its sustainable preservation and enduring legacy. Born from a participatory methodology, it requires the inclusion of case studies that reflect the evolutionary journey of the user experience, its regional nuances, and most importantly, sustainable urban development. In doing so, we ensure that our cultural tapestry remains vibrant and sustainably woven into the fabric of urban life, fostering a resilient and user-centered urban future. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much to all the presenter. And I want to know if are there questions about this presentation, or if you want to add a few words about your presentation.
Concetta, you're talking to me?
Yeah. You or other presenter, not you specifically, in general, if you want to add other words. I think your presentation is fantastic, and I love the citation of Ezio Manzini, because I see many Italian things in this presentation today, and I'm very happy for this.
I'd like to congratulate all the authors of the papers of their efforts, especially you, Concetta, for this unique presentation in relation to the global and the human context, and Dr. Asli Youssel for her creative interpretation of a diagram that we hope will be functional in the future. And our moderator, if he wants to give us some questions.
Thank you very much. Actually, I found your presentation very rigorous and on concrete ground, let us say. And I would like to ask something here. I don't know if it is directly related to the topic or not. Since we are talking about the cartography and this data, I wonder how much the accuracy should be mindful by the architects or the planners. I don't know if you understand what I say, the accuracy of the location. Since we are dealing with the satellite image or some other programs, heating map programs, how much is the relationship between the accuracy of the place or the accuracy of the location, let us say, and the dynamic results that can come out with these programs?
Thank you. I want to answer to these questions. It's very interesting as question. The mapping results of my of this experience is based on inhabitants' experience in their city, how they are traveling from the barycenter of their cities, of their city to the Ksurs. It's an example how the Ksurs are related to the barycenter activity where inhabitants are related with. So the mapping minimize and maximize the relation between the traveling and the depth between the barycenter activity and all sites who are out of the city. So this comes to show how inhabitants must be conscious of the appartenance of their construction sites, and how must they collaborate together to progress within within their sites, and the mapping shows that it's very important to local citizens to participate in the visualizing of their sites, how they can how can they travel in the city within their sites. And I think that's a little bit difficult. It's not easy to demonstrate that to citizens. But with this program, we can see that mapping experience is legible. We can see it. So how we can transfer this with really experience life? This is the object of my research.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Doctor, for your
thank you
answer. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Conchita. I'm done.
I have only a suggestion about this session. I think the key word of the whole this presentation is needs of citizen. Yes. I don't know if you are agree about it, because in the first presentation we have talked about the elderly citizen, the most, I think the most important part of our history. And the second, the pop-up in traditional way is a kind of needs about the function of the city. And in the presentation of Dr. Ines, we can see the movement of the cities and the movements related by needs. And for this reason, I found needs are the key word of this second round. I don't know if
I agree. I agree. Yes, I agree.
Correct.
Okay. I don't know if Dr. Salari, if you want to close this session, or I don't know. Tell me.
You can. You just make me a host again.
I've done it.
If you have any words, you are welcome.
I think that this conference is an occasion to share our point of view from worldwide. I mean, from Italy, from Algeria, from India, and it's for me as chair, and I think for Dr. Ines too as a co-chair, is a great opportunity to understand where we are going to, where architecture are going in the future, and for me,
with a global view.
Yes, it's a global view. Yeah, and it's a great opportunity for me from Italy, and thank you all of you for this beautiful meeting.
Thank you very much for
Yes,
your wonderful
I want to add
management.
to that it's a great opportunity for all of us, I think, to take part in such a special event and to collaborate together and to open discussion about such special problematics, etc. I found it very interesting. Thank you, Conchetta. Thank you, all the authors. I thank all the authors. I thank all the ECAWA teams for the collaboration, for the perspicacity too. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Im.
Now you are host, Dr. Salar.
Did you make me host again? Okay.
I think everything is okay. And for the registration, I don't know how to work because I registered this session. I don't know. Do you
Yes,
want
the recording. You mean the record?
Yeah.
It will. Yes, it will. I think continue. I will. No, you can. I will stop the record.
Okay.
And then we will start in the time.
Okay.
For the next session. I think we have a few minutes for the next. We will start at 1 o'clock.
Okay, perfect. Now I stop the registration. Okay, it's for you. It's okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you to all of you.